G'day. Right now, I just want to give you a quick rundown of the front panel controls available on our new KOLOR Eurorack module. We have 5 main controls which are CV controllable. Before I get into that, it might be worth saying there's a color space switch on KOLOR, which allows us to transition between HSV and RGB, which is 2 methods of controlling color. One is hue, saturation, and value, where the hue defines the color. Saturation defines how intense that color is, and the value is more or less the brightness. And then RGB, which is level control for the red, blue, and green color components. So we have the red, green, and blue color knobs, and those knobs and CV inputs associated with them control the RGB and or the HSV controls associated with them. So those 3 controls are dual controls depending on which switch position the HSV and RGB mode is in. Then underneath them, these are also CV controllable, is a pixel number, so it defines which pixel in the strip you're affecting, and then a width parameter, which allows you to affect multiple pixels around the pixel that you've selected in the pixel mode. So they're the main 5 controls or parameters, which are all controllable via the front panel in a static sort of sense, but are also CV controllable. Then we have our select. The select button is a button and rotary encoder. Now, it lets us set our pixel strip length. So we need to tell the module how long your strip length is. So the first time you put a new strip in, you can go in there and you can set that strip length. The strip length will get stored in memory. So when it's powered off and you come back, you can use the module straight up to ready to go with whatever you had connected before. And it also acts as a mode or a sort of a preset effect select knob. So when you're scrolling through in its normal mode, it allows us to give you different effects across your pixel strip, which are going to light up maybe different pixels or have different color presets and things like that, which are already running. And then you can interact with them via the manual or CV controls. Then right on the bottom are the ways that we interact with the pixel strip itself. So because LEDs draw a fair bit of current, we don't want them pulling power from our Eurorack supplies. We know that's a really precious resource. And so we've allowed for an external DC supply to be put into the front panel. Now that supply is only for the LED strip. It doesn't affect your Euro power. And in fact, the rest of the module, the microprocessor in the module, is powered from your Eurorack power supply. So you still connect a Eurorack power supply and it's looking after the microcontroller on board, but you do need to connect an external DC power supply for your LED strip. One of the reasons why it's really important to be able to plug your power supply for the LED strip into the front is because there are different voltages available for LED strips. So some LED strips have 12 volts, some are 5 volts. And so having this pluggable power supply on the front allows you to choose which LED strip you're going to use, and then you need to choose an associated power supply which will function with that strip. Yeah, so we have DC input for your LED strip power. Next to that, we have an overload light. So that protects against short circuits on the LED strip itself. Or if you're exceeding the current, we've limited the current so that we can protect our PCB because the current is running through the PCB. And so that will open a resettable fuse. And when you take away that fault condition, it will reset. So that's just to protect the PCB, but also protects against any short circuits if you have hooked up an LED strip with a short circuit in it. Or if you have a really big LED strip and it's starting to pull a lot of current with all your LEDs on, this overload will trip. And there are other ways that you can check in detail how you can run really long LED strips if you want to do that. Then there's the 3-pin connector. So we've supplied that with a screw terminal so you can find your own WS2812 LED strips. Anything in that format is compatible with this module. And then so you can find your own, screw them into the screw terminal and plug them into KOLOR and get going and make yourself a really colourful Eurorack interface. or have your rack. Make great videos. I'd love to see what videos you're making. Yeah, so that in a nutshell is all the parameters on the front panel. You've got a lot to play with and make a whole range of exciting, interesting LED effects that are going to be in sync with your music when you're playing your Eurorack setups. Thanks for checking this one out. Please check out the Kickstarter campaign. Get behind it. Support the campaign by purchasing a color. You can let your friends know or tell people and share about our Kickstarter campaign. I'd love it if you'd support us in that way. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.